Sector Deepening Uganda is a premier Ugandan think and do tank. We're a not-for-profit organization funded by FCDO, the Gates Foundation, and the European Union. Our entire mission is to create financial markets that are competitive, robust, and inclusive. Markets that serve low-income clients, especially women, smallholder farmers, refugees, and small and medium businesses. As a premier financial think tank, FSD Uganda engages at the macro, meso, and micro levels. At the macro level, we work with policymakers and regulators in the country. We work with all financial sector regulators, and this work is handled by our business environment team. We have engaged in the past with the central bank, with the Uganda Communications Commission, insurance regulator, and others on a journey of digital transformation with them. The intention is to help them become ready for next generation product licensing, services, supervision, compliance. The work that we're doing with the Uganda Bankers Association, which involves an overhauling of several banking sector regulations, is a derivative of our support to the central bank and to the industry association. Via this work, what we've realized, or this work, the validation workshops that we're having with the industry, came out of a retreat that Uganda Bankers Association had. It came out of a direct need by the constituents of the Bankers Association, where they identified that multiple regulations, guidance notes by several financial sector regulators had either become irrelevant given the fast changing pace of the financial sector, or at times contradicted each other, or were ambiguous in their intention or ambition. The convergence of various practitioners in the industry being able to share their challenges in offering financial solutions and products to their clients, both businesses and individual, could be an eye-opener to the financial sector regulators on the challenges of reaching the last mile, of delivering services and retaining clients.
The association is an umbrella body for regulated financial institutions. And here we have what we call the Tier 1 commercial banks. We have the Tier 2, who are the microfinance credit institutions. We have the micro deposit taking institutions, and we have 2 development banks. So we are 35 in number, and the umbrella basically speaks to, the mandate is to speak to the industry issues, to undertake the stakeholder engagements, the lobbying, all meant to improve the practice of banking. The umbrella body speaks for the institutions and of course interfaces with stakeholders. It became quite obvious that there are a lot of changes that are happening in terms of demographic growth, the banking sector needs, the business needs outside there for those who use financial services, the need for alignment with national goals, and other developments, either driven by technology, new legislation, new practices. And banking is collaborative. We work with other international partners across, and it was just important to catch up with the sheer amount of change. And it needed looking at the reforms that can make the sector thrive, be more relevant, be able to address the emerging risks, and deal with the development demands that are required of financial institutions. So we thought it is very appropriate to have a whole set of reforms that speaks to these things.
Our commitment as a sector is to be able to extend banking to every Ugandan, and to extend it in a way that is sensible, but also in a way that's convenient and cheaper. To be able to do it, we're going to take various steps. This is just one of them. We expect us to hold hands with all other players in the wider financial sector to be able to bank more seamlessly, to be able to achieve the expectations in terms of inclusion, and to be able to support the development of the country as we should as a financial sector.
With this validation workshop, what we hope to achieve is gain voices from practitioners, put that together in a recommendation and reports for how banking sector regulations can serve present-day clients and future clients and businesses. Some of the important aspects that we hope will change both on the client side as well as on the side of the financial institutions is on the customer side. We hope to have greater clarity on consumer protection, transparency, electronic KYC, on issues around access, cash in, cash out access. On the financial institutions side, we would like to have clarity on how they can conduct their business in a seamless fashion that doesn't increase costs but enables them to drive costs down and pass that gain on to the customer.
The mandate of the Bankers Association is not just to represent member interests, but also undertake engagements, either to shape or form policy, to lobby to those things that constrain the sector, to also look at other things that can open up the sector for opportunities, the emerging opportunities, so that we are relevant, we reach the last mile, we speak to development needs of the country, and try and isolate those things that were constraining us to do so. And in that process, gather views, pick up the recommendations that can either change legislation, regulation, policy, and even the internal practice of the financial institutions themselves. Some of the models we used in the past are not viable to run a bank today. Some of those things may require changes. And we thought that in the immediate term, what can be done immediately, what can be done over a longer time. Sometimes it takes much longer for regulations to change, but at least if we are clear that the roadmap is there and these are the important issues, we can speak to them.
At the end of this validation workshop and the subsequent report that will be shared with the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance, we hope that several of these reforms are taken under serious consideration and we see results of some of those reforms. The majority of the recommendations don't just factor in present-day challenges, but also take into account emerging future technologies, emerging solutions, and challenges that may come down a couple of months or a few years. As FSD Uganda in particular, we feel very proud that it doesn't require us to drive this. We have played a critical role in bringing different constituents of the financial sector together, but today seeing industry associations be able to advocate on behalf of common industry issues and behalf of their constituents is a big success for us.
We have a lot of aspirations and we have a lot of optimism that if we do the work and have the basis as well as the background, that we shall start the change that we have been agitating. So we are very grateful and thank you very much for your time.